Hey everybody, this is Joe Payne here with another Political Pain, and today I want to talk about the big news. Really quick, I don't have my usual setup here. My mic, I'm using actually the mic on my new webcam, so you tell me if it sounds better or worse in the comments than what I usually have, but I wanted to get this out quickly because I got to talk about the big news, and that's the passing of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. A very well-known and popular among the Democratic Party and many on the left. Ruth Bader Ginsburg was one of the first women to serve on the court, made monumental, decisions and dissents. Her dissents are well known when when the conservative court made a decision, but she also wrote opinions that were, very much, very popular and heralded as, being steps forward for whether it was marriage equality or, women's rights. Seen as a very important figure, and she passed away last week on September 18th at the age of 87. She battled cancer multiple times, and this time, she died from pancreatic cancer that had returned to her. Which is very sad. The human loss of this is important, and also what she meant, to politics and to a lot of Americans. She was very iconic, especially to women who saw representation on the court in Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I'm a progressive. I'm on the left, and there was a lot of criticism of her online. I think, I'm not going to, poo-poo and say whether that was, the right time or the wrong time. People express their grief in different ways. A lot of people are angry with her about some pro-corporate decisions she'd made, which is understandable, but also that she had the chance to retire under Obama, but didn't take that chance, didn't take that opportunity. And really, insider reporting says that she was hoping to retire under the first woman president, Hillary Clinton, and obviously that didn't happen. So, I think it speaks to our system a little bit, like that. So much is riding on the health of this one person, and I just think it's terribly sad. Obviously, she made a miscalculation, and I'm sure she had to deal with that on her deathbed. And she called for there to be no replacement, no seating of another justice until after this election. Now, there has been a lot of talk about the Republican Party and many in the Republican Party who, because we all know, if you don't, about Merrick Garland, who was an appointee that was nominated by President Barack Obama during the last year of his presidency in 2016, when Justice Scalia, one of the staunchest conservatives on the court, died suddenly. And so the Senate, headed by Mitch McConnell, and with the Senate majority being Republican, they just basically, stomped on Obama's ability to, they just blocked him entirely from seating a Supreme Court justice, just to hold it out until they could get, Trump in the White House, which they did, which again, Trump eked by, he just eked by to win the presidency through the Electoral College, lost the popular vote. There's been all this hay made about all these Republicans who said, well, when it's our turn and we're in the same position, then we'll hold to this. Or Lindsey Graham said, you can use my words against me. When you guys are in the same position, we'll do the same thing. I don't think anybody who knows anything about the Republican Party should be surprised that they're going back on this, okay? The Supreme Court has been their long game goal for generations. Before I was born, before a lot of people watching YouTube were born, the Republican Party and conservative America has wanted the Supreme Court for a number of reasons. But don't expect calling Republicans hypocrites is going to do anything. You might as well throw feathers at them to make something happen. They don't care. They're only interested in raw power. There were a number of Republicans who came out and said, oh, well, I don't think, and they were basically given the pass to do that because they're facing re-election and it doesn't look good for them. And so, but ever since Mitt Romney came out and said that he's gonna vote for, whoever Trump names, then McConnell has the votes, people. I'm sorry. I know nobody wants to hear this, at least anyone on the left or anyone progressive interested in progressive politics. But McConnell has the votes. There's just about nothing that the Democratic Party or the left can do about this. Well, I mean, what could the left do? We have no institutional power. But the Democratic Party, there's nothing they can do. I mean, there were all these hypotheticals thrown up. Oh, well, Nancy Pelosi, she could, shut down the government, or she could impeach Trump and all these things. Given any and all of those, McConnell still has the votes and the ability. Vice President Mike Pence is the president of the Senate. They can call the hearings and they can seat the justice. That they just have the institutional power to do that. And so we're basically asked out. There's nothing that can be done about this. The fight is over. The fight is lost, and it's just a matter of time. And I know this isn't anything anybody wants to hear. But except the right's very, very, very excited about this. And why? Well, first of all, if you look at one of the biggest blocks of the Republican Party voting base is evangelical Christian white Americans. And they have been hoping to flip the court for generations, ever since the Roe v. Wade decision gave women in America autonomy over their own bodies and the right to an abortion. Now, under the conservative court, under Roberts, we have had multiple state decisions that have allowed Republicans and Republican states to chip away at women's abilities to get an abortion, limiting the number of clinics, putting up as many roadblocks as they possibly could to women actually getting an abortion performed, limiting the amount of time that they're able to get it. Just as many different things have been attacking this right of women in America. And now they're getting very close to getting somebody in there who is straight up anti-abortion. One of the favorites looks to be Amy Coney Barrett, and she is kind of tied. There's been this big, hullabaloo that she's tied to this religious organization that might have something to do with inspiring The Handmaid's Tale. There's been back and forth reporting on this. Conservative outlets are saying, oh, this is absolutely not at all true, and they are manipulating. This is the left attacking Christianity and Christians. But so basically the Republicans, they are, this is kind of what they do. They're putting up a woman, so they're like, see, look at us, we're being progressive and all of these things because we have a woman on the court. But she has like very problematic views, very religiously infused views, and then they claim discrimination. Well, they're going against God and they're going against your religion. I'm an atheist. I'm secular. I think one of the important foundational things about America that was good from the beginning was that it's a secular democracy, that we don't have religious rule. And it's not just freedom of religion, but it's freedom from religion. But anybody who, understands the Republican Party and the Republican voting base should know that it's not a surprise that they're putting up this very religious candidate, Amy Coney Barrett. I mean, it's a gift to a big part of their voting bloc, which is evangelicals. The other part of having a conservative majority like this, a 6 to 3 conservative majority, is the conservatives can just overpower the legislative branch and the federal government if it's in Democratic hands. They can side with corporations to pollute the environment. They can side with, employers to, break up unions, to do all kinds of stuff to keep the working class, suppressed, voting rights suppressed. And this gets me to the election, which this is possibly the most disturbing, terrifying thing about the Supreme Court appointment and fight that's going on right now, is Trump is openly saying that he wants to use the Supreme Court to stop the vote count in this election. He has been adamant that, vote by mail is corrupt and it's a hoax, but with no evidence. There's no evidence that that vote by mail is compromised in any way. And this is just the Republicans cheating. And I'm sorry, but they cheat and they lie and they steal every chance they get because all they care about is raw power. And if you didn't know, Bush did this in 2000, used the Supreme Court to stop the recount in Florida. There was also a thing called the Brooks Brothers riot where literally paid GOP operatives stormed the Miami-Dade County Registrar's office, elector's office, and stopped the recount. They like trampled people and screamed and shouted, and it like that is like, I don't know. That's like stuff you hear about people getting in fights, in like the parliament in Eastern Europe and all this crazy stuff like that. This has happened here before, using the Supreme Court to stop an election, stop a recount. Trump wants to do this en masse in swing states. He wants to stop the vote by mail because of, yes, the pandemic. That is also not a hoax that we're living in. But Trump isn't even hiding this. Here is something he said today. He said something just the other day, but he said this today about that he wants this justice seated because he's going to use it with the election. Listen to this.
Well, it's a great question, a very fair question. Yes, I think it's very important. I think this will end up in the Supreme Court, and I think it's very important that we have 9 justices, and I think the system is going to go very quickly. I'll be submitting at 5 o'clock on Saturday the name of the person I chose for this most important of all positions.
So, he said it's very important we have 9. Why is he saying that? Because he doesn't trust John Roberts. John Roberts, who is a conservative justice, he was appointed by George W. Bush. Roberts at least cares about this superficial image of the Supreme Court as being apolitical or non-political. He does a lot of, he's ruled with the liberal minority before in certain cases to preserve this. He might have agreed with the legal implications or the arguments, but also he cares about this image that the court isn't just a totally political, craven political, organization or institution, but it absolutely is. And this is why you see Democrats already talking about court packing, expanding the number of justices, all other types of maybe limiting the power of the Supreme Court. But this, people need to understand that the Republican Party doesn't care about anything but its own power. The issue of abortion is a wedge issue that they can use to keep and preserve voting support. But conservative justices, really what they want them for is to, empower the rich, empower corporate America, empower the wealth class, and disempower voters, disempower the working class. And that's, and take elections when they want to. Just strong arm Al Gore out of the presidency. But Trump wants to strong arm Biden out of the presidency and use the court. He's making no secret about it. And this is part of the tyranny of the minority that we live in the United States is, Trump lost the popular vote. 3 million more people voted for Hillary Clinton. A lot of them held their nose when they did it, but they did vote. 3 million more Americans voted for her than him. George W. Bush did not win the popular vote. And so, we haven't had a Republican win the popular vote on their first term since Reagan, 40 years ago. And so here we are, they have outsized, the Republican Party has outsized representation in the Senate. I live in California, population of 40 million, and we have 2 senators. And there's something like 9 states that across the Midwest that have, comparable population. We're talking 9 states with 40 million people, and those 9 states have 18 senators, right? And a lot of them Republican. So the representation that someone from Nebraska or Idaho gets in the Supreme Court, in the Senate, is orders of magnitude more than someone like I do in California or Oregon or Washington or New York. And therefore, consequently, they have outsized representation in the Supreme Court because the Senate got to just steal a justice from Obama. That's Merrick Garland. That's my vote being trampled on. That's your vote being trampled on if you voted for Obama. And they get to, just hold that seat and have Gorsuch, have Gorsuch, have Brett Kavanaugh, and now they're not going to hold to this precedent or whatever that they totally pulled out of their ass and made up when Scalia died and they didn't let Garland in. They're just going to take this seat, and you just sorry, and it's bad. We're going to be living with the repercussions of this for generations, for a lifetime, really. That's, just about what you have. They're going to appoint a young justice. And Trump has done this also on the federal court system, the federal judiciary. So you're going to hear about cases for years now that are going to be smacked down, that it's going to make no sense whatsoever. But it's all because it was a Trump-appointed judge. So this is what we're dealing with. This is what we're living with. Sorry, folks. This is like my new slogan. Not going to sugarcoat it for you. This is bad, but this is why it's important to vote while you still have voting rights. It's important to organize while you still have the ability to do that. And Trump's already trying to criminalize protest and street protest and call you an anarchist and sick the FBI or the NSA or whoever else, the Department of Homeland Security, on you for exercising your First Amendment right. It's truly getting dystopian and authoritarian. So act accordingly. Vote early. Go to vote early if you can. There's already early voting open in several states. I'm going to drop my mail-in ballot off directly at my county elector's office, so it's not slowed through the mail. Look to my previous video about the post office. But this is bad, folks. So please act accordingly. Do what you need to do. But this has been Joe Payne with another Political Pain. Please like, subscribe, follow, hit the bell, all the things. Go to my website, politicalpain.com, to donate. Whatever you can do to help me out, I'd appreciate it. But let's just stay informed together. Let's stay safe, wear our masks, all that other stuff. Hang in there, everybody. I want to say it's going to be okay, but I don't know. I'm going to do another video, hopefully, in the future, looking at the election and all the repercussions and what could possibly happen. But anyway, stay safe. I'll see you next time. Thanks again.